Всем здорово. Сегодня заключительное прохождение Шерлока Холмса. По сути, должно быть. Так, в общем-то, все так. Так, далее. Значит, после завершения там смотрим, что у нас по стримам будет. В общем, тот чат забежит. Поздоровается, надеюсь. Молча сидеть не будет. Вот. И, в общем-то, переходим уже к самой игре. У нас как бы осталась прогулка в лунном свете. Это оно так называется наше дело по расследованию. Так. Оп. Костюмчик-то надо сменить. Пожалуй. Блин. Это дело. Гардеробная. Шкаф. Вот так. А, кстати, ничего не открыто. Так, прически. Закрыты очки. Закрыты бороды. Закрыты. Любопытно. Видимо, это все дело сишное у нас. О. Ну ладно. Так, письма у нас. Так.
Влад Краткин, здорово.
Здорово, Влад, здорово. Так. Допросить Лейтона, осмотреть его вещи в Скотланд-Ярде. Смотреть место преступления, поговорить с свидетелями. И раскрыть. Ага. Окей. Так, вроде бы ничего не забыл. Так. Смотрите вещи, значит.
Mr. Holmes, whatever brings you here so late at night?
I'm interested in the case of young Leighton Chapman. He was arrested earlier this evening. and accused of a double murder.
I beg your pardon? That case is quite clear to the police. Or are there any new facts that we don't know about?
Who knows, Inspector?
Look, you are free to investigate, of course, Mr. Holmes. Chapman was arrested with a revolver in his possession, which you can find in the evidence room. The suspect himself is in custody.
Did you find anything else on his person?
A few personal belongings. Nothing particular, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, Lestrade.
Такс. Каким-то боком я в кабинете, да? Смотрю. Опа. Тут, в принципе, делать, наверное, нечего.
I'm always wondering what's on your mind, Holmes.
Ну, Ватсон. Да я сам себя не знаю. Потому что враги думают. Так. Вещи у нас. Вот они.
So this is the gun that Leighton was holding when he was caught by the police. It is a Webley revolver, a reliable weapon.
Ну, смотрите.
It seems as though the shells were not removed from the cylinder. Two out of the 6
Да,
shells
выстрелом.
have been fired. There were 2 shots. A cheap watch, bought with his own money, no doubt. These cigarettes are filled with cheap tobacco, nothing interesting.
Так. Подожди. Разве. Допросите Лейтона. Угу. Пойдем. Сейчас будем пяточки щекотать.
Please escort this suspect for
Да, просто.
interrogation. Good evening, Mr. Chapman.
Who are you? I've got nothing to say. It's all a mistake.
Calm down, Leighton. I have come here to help you. To find out if you truly are innocent, as your younger brother Wiggins has told me.
My brother? You know him? Then that means you're...
Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, blimey. All right, Mr. Holmes. I'll tell you everything.
Выкладывай.
Good. Tell me your account of what happened.
I left my work and I hurried up to see the fireworks in Whitechapel. I was late, so I decided to cut through Half Moon Street. I saw the first fireworks light up in the sky. I bumped into a constable on a corner before entering Half Moon. Then suddenly, what with all the firework flare, I saw 2 men. They were both lying flat in the middle of the street. I stopped where I was. I thought about turning back to the police, but as I was thinking of that, I saw a third person. He was leaning over the body that was furthest from me. The second I saw him, he raised his head and he stared at me. In a flash, I saw his gun, but he made a dash for it instead and he escaped through Whitechapel Street.
Давай посмотрим. Фингал. Шрам. Ну, шрам, скорее всего. Либо сам себя нанес, либо... Кто его знает. клерк. Вроде чистая одежка. О, стировочка. Угу. Допрашиваем дальше.
So you might still have had time to return to the constable.
I panicked. I didn't know what to do. Anyway, I approached the bodies just to see if they were still alive. I saw that one had blood pumping out of his stomach. He was dying. It was horrible. The second one was already dead. He had a hole in his head. He was holding a gun in his hand though. I took it. And then I followed the third man.
Interesting. Pray, continue.
I turned a corner, and I saw the man standing in the middle of the street. He seemed to be in some sort of panic. And then, Mr. Holmes, something strange happened. I told the police and they laughed at what I said, but I swear to you, my words are true. I started running towards him. But then I was blinded by a flash. It was so bright that I hardly saw anything for a good dozen seconds. But I kept running forward. As I arrived in Whitechapel, I heard a woman screaming. And then I was caught by the police. But there wasn't a trace of that man. Of course, then they found a gun and all that blood. I couldn't see the murderer escaping and all that mess. Perhaps I was still half-blinded at that moment.
A thrilling account, my young man. Leighton, are you able to describe the person whom you saw standing in Half Moon Street?
Well, I wasn't able to see his face at all. It was too dark, and he was too far away. I could see his silhouette.
And what about that?
Nothing so special. He was wearing a jacket. He was quite average in size and his weight.
I see. Was there anything else that struck you at the time?
No. But perhaps... It's strange, but I can't remember the sound of his footsteps as he was running away. Perhaps it was because of the fireworks or the surprise of me seeing him.
We shall see you soon, young man.
Так. Теперь нам стоит место преступления смотреть. Так, окей. Говорится, Ватсон. Шерлок теперь будут полностью посвящены делу. Надеюсь, раскроем быстро. Ну, преступника уже.
Чикаго, Даллас. Здоров, лайк, стоит только я вот вышел из АТС хоп на твои стрим кинул.
Спасибо за лайкосик. Так, ну что ж. Какие у нас тут... Так. Вырезки. Ага. Ага. Нам нужно туда. Ох, какая прям подворотня. Красиво, да и стрёмно.
Please, gentlemen, leave the scene now. Oh, Mr. Holmes, is that you?
Good evening, Constable...
Constable Marrow. I was here with Inspector Aberline during the Ripper case, Mr. Holmes, back in '88. But then this is nothing like that case. With this one, we've got the murderer, the weapon, and the statements, which speak for themselves.
Of course, Marrow. But you know that appearances can sometimes be deceiving. You spoke of statements.
Чикаго,
You
Даллас.
have
Я
witnesses?
вот на 1,40
there,
катал
so I
перешел
gave
с
my own
1,39.
And then there were two other witnesses who said they saw the killer chap.
Ясненько.
Mr. Turner, a gentleman who lives in that flat over there. And Polly Powell, a flower seller, who was over at the far side of the street.
Who were the victims?
The two men here, both shot. The stab fellow was Brian Vercotti, a well-known ruffian. The other, Kenneth Butler, a jeweller by trade.
So, Constable Marrow, I should be delighted to hear your testimony.
I was standing at the north side of Half Moon Street. That was the side that you came from.
But you would have been unable to observe this part of the street, where we are standing now.
That is correct. But I saw the two victims slowly enter Half Moon Street, and then shortly after, the fireworks started. A few minutes after that, the fellow Chapman rushed towards me and ran into Half Moon Street.
Please continue.
I didn't pay attention, but suddenly I heard a woman's cries and police whistles on the other side of Half Moon Street. I rushed over there and I saw the two dead bodies on the ground. When I reached Whitechapel Street, I saw Leighton Chapman. He'd been caught by two police constables.
What were the fireworks in honor of, Constable?
Well, today's Queen Victoria's birthday, Mr. Holmes.
Yes, I appear to have lost track of the days. It is May now, of course. Constable Marrow, what else caught your attention while you were running through Half Moon Street?
I saw nothing but rats, and I took the time to light every corner with my lamp.
Did you hear the shots?
I didn't hear any shots. The fireworks were all over the sky. They were so loud I couldn't hear anything else.
Did you happen to look up at Mr. Turner's window when you were on Half Moon Street at that time?
Yes, I saw that the window was open, but no one was there. It was dark in the room.
Constable, your statements have been of great value to me.
Так, пришло наше время обследовать. Нашу интуиции. Так, незримые взгляды откроются, если мы посмотрим в правильном углом. Пока что здесь ничего такого на глаза не попалось. Так вот эти... Так.
Good evening, Mr. Turner.
I heard Constable Marrow reply to you as Mr. Holmes. Are you that detective gentleman? I've heard of you. And well, I know things about this evening.
Excellent. Might we hear your story? Could you tell us everything that you may have seen or heard?
I was already in bed when the fireworks started. A few moments after, I clearly heard two gunshots from outside.
Please continue.
I quickly got up and I grabbed the lamp from my nightstand and I rushed towards the window. I looked down and I saw two bodies. And there was a man with a gun who was standing nearby.
Where exactly?
Well, near this body.
Did he notice you?
I don't think so. He rushed towards Whitechapel Street without looking around.
Так, Седой, много морщин. Брови на месте, фингалов нет. Что еще можно рассказать? О, далее. Угу. Так. Что стоит погоиться? Угу. Так.
Mr. Turner, did you see anyone else in the street?
No, I saw no one but that man, the murderer, the fellow they caught.
Were the two shots you heard consecutive?
Yes, there was a very short pause between them, and they sounded different somehow. It seemed to me that the second shot was louder than the first.
That is an interesting comment. Mr. Turner, what were your actions after you stepped up to the window?
I was afraid that the man with a gun might return, so I stayed close to the window till I saw the policeman coming in the Half Moon from Whitechapel. Then I walked out to tell them everything I saw.
You have helped us a great deal, Mr. Turner.
Окей. Опа, Уиггинс.
Mr. Holmes, did you see my brother at Scotland Yard? Is he all right?
С шрамом, но в порядке. Как говорится, каждый шрам — это изюминка. Так, что у нас тут? Так. Угу. Окей. Ладно, идем дальше. Обследовать улицу. О, поболтаем.
Mrs. Powell?
What do you want?
My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting the police with their investigation of the crime that took place this evening.
Well, I've already gave my testimony, but very well.
Could you tell us everything that you may have seen or heard?
Yes. I was selling my flowers as usual, and then the fireworks began, in honour of Queen Victoria. I enjoyed those. But then, all of a sudden, a young lad ran out of Half Moon Street and stopped just by me. He had a gun in his hand. He was like a ghost, and all covered in blood. It was dark, but I could see him, because of the flashes from the fireworks.
And then?
I screamed as loud as I could. I knew that a policeman should be on duty in the vicinity. He had no time to escape. 2 constables got him. Then another constable came out from the very same street, and I heard him talking of a horrible murder.
Did you see anyone else leaving Half Moon Street, prior to or at the time of the crime?
No, sir, I did not. Even with all the fireworks, I was very attentive, as I'm always on the lookout for customers.
Mrs. Powell, did you hear the gunshots?
I'm not sure. You know, what with the fireworks?
My thanks to you, Mrs. Powell.
Так, флористка, походу.
This mirror is turned towards Half Moon Street.
Да, зеркало тебя не камера. Тут ты в него смотрел. Увы.
Locked.
Угу. Понятно.
Locked.
Тоже закрыто.
Locked.
Тоже закрыто. Угу. Так, окей. Так. Понятно.
Locked.
Блин. Проверить стоило. Ну ладно. Странно, что вот эти вот следы никак не подсвечены ничем даже. Возле листовок этих расклеенных. Все глухо как-то. Ну ладно. Пойдем туда посмотреть погибших. Так, ладони. Так. Ключ.
This is an ordinary key. I wonder what kind of door it opens.
Угу. Так. Кольца нету.
The bullet struck his head. This man didn't stand a chance. A piece of wood that has stuck between the cobblestones. Let us take a closer look. This shard of wood is quite new.
Улика. Ботинки при нем.
He tried to stop the bleeding with his hand. Death was not instant. The bullet penetrated his stomach, a dreadful wound. Brian Vercotti suffered greatly. What a terrible way to die.
Не все осмотрел, походу. Такая же татуировка.
A tattoo from Westgate Prison. Vercotti must have done some time there. Brian Vercotti and Leighton Chapman both have identical Westgate Prison tattoos. They were most likely acquainted. A fairly long pole with a forked end. A fairly long pole with a forked end.
Ну да, пусть. Так. Смотрим под ноги. Что у нас?
I'm always wondering what's on your mind, Holmes.
Ладно. Давай складывать в единое. Нам в этом поможет наши записи. Сейчас, секунду. Так, последнее. То, что у нас... Страница 5. Так. Нас подозреваем. Так, веща изучены. Часы, сигареты, барабан, патроны внутри, просто расстрет. Так, изучили оба трупа. Так, рана на голове тоже. Ключ. Деревяшку тоже. Угу. Двое убитых и Лейден. Так. Кейнен, Батлер, Брайан, Наркотик, наверное, убийца, все равно Дима. Угу. Дальше. Еще порог заебал, это внимание. Угу. Что-то револьвер. Разные выстрелы. Ого, есть у нас. Револьвер. Выстрел. Так. Черного выстрела показались разными, потому что было 3. Угу. Но там у нас на револьвере всего-то 2 патрона. Угу. А что даже если так? Не складывается. Далее. Так. Потом у нас идет мнение и темное окно. Угу. Улики. Так. Смотрим. Так. Угу. Есть контакт. Ключевые показания. Тернера. Так. Тернер. Скорее всего.
Mr. Turner, you have stated that you remained close by your window after the crime, is that correct?
Oh, yes, Mr. Holmes. I stayed at my window until the policeman arrived to examine the dead bodies.
Ключ от двери. Ай.
Oh, yes, Mr. Holmes. I stayed at my window until the policeman arrived to examine the dead bodies.
Возник хромота, кусок деревяшки, противоречие.
That is very interesting, Mr. Turner. Constable Marrow stated that he did not see anyone at the window when he was running through Half Moon Street.
Well, I think Constable Marrow and me, we might have been distracted by the whistles and shouts coming from Whitechapel. We could have missed each other somehow. You understand what I mean? It was a bit of a stressful moment, to tell you the truth, sir.
Allow me to form my own theories, Mr. Turner. Would you mind showing me the view that you had from your window?
Not at all, Mr. Holmes. Please, follow me.
Mr. Turner appears to live very modestly. Mr. Turner was roused from his bed by the sound of gunshots.
Так.
This fire is dying out. It was last tended to over an hour ago.
Зала. Жадная бумага.
The papers are almost entirely burned. I am unable to see what's written here. These words are illegible. The papers were thrown into the fire just a short while ago.
Что-то скрывает, Стип. Что-то скрывает. Вопрос, что?
The books on this shelf are in a mess. It looks as though Mr. Turner was trying to find something in a hurry here a short while ago.
Ага.
A perfect match. So, Mr. Turner broke his stick when it became stuck between the cobblestones. He did not mention that he was so near to the victims.
Так. Кажись, кому-то придется объяснить, что он там делал.
There are pieces of shredded paper scattered over the table. This kitchen knife is quite sharp. This kitchen knife was used to cut the paper. So, that's the view Mr. Turner had when he opened the window. Brian Vercotti's contorted corpse. The dead body of Kenneth Butler. Mr. Turner had a perfect view of the crime scene. He saw the bodies clearly, and Leighton Chapman standing over them.
Очень даже кстати.
Anything else you would like to know, Mr. Holmes?
Да нет уж. Так, вроде бы здесь все обыскали. Сейчас посмотрим, что наши записи скажут. Так, так. Камин. Так, жена бумага. Книги. Трость. Так, дряжку смотрели уже. Режим концентрации. Так. Воображение, активирование действия призрака. Точно. Тут я думаю, что-то не хватает. Вот он. Что скрывать, а? Не. Бросила что такое. Разрезал. Возможно, подошел. Хотя нет, стоп. Скорее всего, может быть вот это. Потом. Так. Встал с кровати. Окно. Увидел того чувака внизу. Спустился вниз. Так, потом, что у него забрал? Так. 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 Секундочку. Что у нас по записям? Наоборот. Окно, улица, трость, бумага и камин. Окно. Улица. Трость. Бумага, камин.
So Mr. Turner used a book to hide an object that he found on Kenneth Butler's body. The question is, What did he find? I can see prints from greasy fingers upon the cover of this book. Let us take a closer look. Well now, what a find! A precious jewel, concealed inside a book. A bracelet with a unique ram's head design, a distinctive feature of ancient Grecian artifacts, probably of the Hellenistic era.
Так. Далее. Так. Ну, с поля продавщицы мы уже болтали. Давай тогда еще раз к ней подойдем, если так. Так, идем. Идем. Смотрим, что нам скажет. Еще раз.
I suppose that I shall have to move my stool now.
Ага. Так, показания Лейтона и револьвер. Ага, окей. Ага, понятно. Так. Это не складывается. Почему-то. Общее заключение. Общее заключение показания. Общее заключение. Ага. Вот оно что. Потом уже то. Так. Так. И... так, револьвер. Нет. Общее заключение и... револьвер. Так, я понимаю. Да. Так. Что у нас тут? Далее. Так. Окей. Ладно. Пойдем исследовать наши трупы. Сказать, пока совсем не остыли. Так. Или пока их кто-нибудь не свистнул. А если с ним поболтать?
Mr. Holmes, did you see my brother at Scotland Yard? Is he all right?
Угу. Сотая жертва, вероятно, выстрелом дважды. Выбрать стрелка. Кто же стрелял? Дважды. Ага.
I am unable to see any higher. I need to find something to lift my lamp.
Есть идея.
This should be useful.
Конечно.
Nothing interesting here.
Угу. Но это не он был. Так, выстрел в тело. Получается.
This is most definitely
А вот
a
она.
bullet hole. The brick cracks are fresh. Watson, there was a third shot fired in this street.
Стрит. Так, далее. Так, было отверстие. Обнаружено, произведено со стороны. На развал Александре. Так, выстрел и показания. Выстрел и показания. Окей. Так. Заявление Лайта на Чапана. Три выстрела до сих пор. Затем у нас есть двое убитых. Третий выстрел, наверное, да? Логично. Так. Так, этот Батлер брал на стрельбе. Обоих были пистолеты. Один из них исчез. Либо одним человеком. Так. Оставляем как есть. Так, далее. Что у нас? Так, привлечен констебль мэра к проведению эксперимента. Так, констебль. Окей. Ну, давай.
Constable Marrow, I would value your assistance in this investigation.
It would be my pleasure, Mr. Holmes.
I would like to make sure that there are no places in Half Moon Street where a man could hide while you were running through it with your lamp.
All right, Mr. Holmes, what should I do?
Take your lamp and start walking, just as you did before, and try to find me.
Understood. I can see you very well, Mr. Holmes.
All right, Constable. Let's try again. I'll find another place to hide.
Here you are, Mr. Holmes.
All right, Constable. Let's try again. I'll find another place to hide.
Mr. Holmes, it wasn't difficult to find you at all.
It is obvious now. No one could escape Constable Marrow's lamp while hiding in the street.
Готово, да. Выполнено. Так. Угу. Комбинация. Все углы. И показания Лейтоном. Комбинация у нас, да. Тотеном. Так, окей. Что получается нам? Скотланд-Ярд. Так. Ага. Так. Еще один допрос. И мы ближе. К раскрытию. Или нет?
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Leighton, I confess I am puzzled. Why should a young lad like you take a gun from the hands of a dead man and set off in pursuit of a probable killer?
I know. I keep wondering that, but at the time it was like a reflex. A criminal ought to be arrested, and he was armed.
You were willing to risk your life. That was a little foolish, unless you wanted revenge.
No, Mr. Holmes. I was just being brave and stupid.
Так. Ключ от двери. Нет.
No, Mr. Holmes. I was just being brave and stupid.
Так, узники, хромота, старинный браслет. Тоже нет. Ладно.
No, Mr. Holmes. I was just being brave and stupid.
Сходство и не хромота.
No, Mr. Holmes. I was just being brave and stupid.
Узники.
I'm sure that you were, but I believe that you may have recognized one of the victims, Brian Vercotti. You knew that gentleman well, did you not?
However could you know that?
You have a typical tattoo of the Westgate Brotherhood upon your hand. I observed exactly the same mark upon Mr. Vercotti. You came to know him from your sharing a past prison sentence. Am I correct, Mr. Chapman?
God. You're right, Mr. Holmes.
Would you tell me a little about Brian Vercotti?
We were convicted for a robbery. Once in prison, both of us joined one of these fraternities. During that year, we tried to help each other out, you know?
You were quite young then, I believe.
Yes, Mr. Holmes, we were. We'd only stolen a pound of meat. After we were released, and when I saw what my little brother had become, I decided to work towards living an honest life.
And Vercotti?
He had a hard time. His sister had died in a Whitechapel dispensary while he was in prison. He had no family anymore. Our paths split. He fell back into crime.
So you lost him?
Yes. And for around 2 years, I heard no news of him at all.
We shall see you soon, young man.
Так. Старое знакомство. Получается, да? Угу. Точно, 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 точно. Ниточка, ниточка идет. Угу. Опа. Двойное убийство. Вот тебе финал. Ну-ка, ну-ка. Оправдать, несмотря на совершенное преступление, Лейтон глупый и впечатлительный парень. В нашем разлоге останется совсем один. Срок заключения Лейтона будет сокращен. Оправдать. Судить. Может быть, молод, но он жестокий. Задание. Жизненное заключение. Оправдать или осудить? Так. Ну, допустим. Несмотря на совершенное преступление. Как бы в реальности это все. Вариант за А или за X. Допустим. Если мы его оправдаем, что-то поменяется. То бишь, останется этот мальчишка, недовольный Шерлоком. В итоге, наверное. Косом будет смотреть. А давай вариант А.
Leighton Chapman, you did commit a double murder in Half Moon Street. It was due to a long-held grudge against one of your victims, Brian Vercotti. However, your brother Wiggins came to me. He needs you as much as you need him. I have faith that you will not err again, so I have decided that you shall avoid a harsher fate.
But no! It didn't happen like that!
We have solid evidence, Chapman. You cannot deny it. A crime is a crime, but Mr. Holmes has convinced us to ease your sentence. Don't make us regret it.
Mr. Holmes! But you promised to save him!
Так. О-о-о. Вариант. Понятно. Вариант X, наверное, получается, да? Ну, как говорится. На этом все. Финал достиг. Сцену смотрим. Все здесь, все раскрыто. Еще одного не хватает. В чем же их расследованиях? Ну, понятно. Ладно. Что ж. На этом у нас все. Как говорится. Или не все. Нет, все полный. Ладно. Завершили, так же завершили. Финалочка, в принципе, была неплохая. Но использовать было, надо было вариант другой. Выбрал вариант А. 1% всего лишь. С моей стороны. Так, ладненько. На этом, пожалуй, все. Кто забирал лайк, заставил. Баночки. И увидимся с вами, возможно, на этой неделе, но какой день я точно не скажу. Главное, следите за новостями. Там, в принципе, колокольчик прожали. YouTube, надеюсь, тупить не будет. Уведомления присылать сможет. Ладно. Всем до скорого, всем покеда.